Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bio 137. This is just an informal introduction. We're going to go over the syllabus just a little bit and kind of go over some more important information about how we're going to outline the class and tips to be more successful. So I encourage you to watch this lecture before you move on to any of the actual material for the class. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the syllabus. And once we get done with the syllabus, we'll do a tour of Blackboard, and we'll take it one step at a time. So right now, you should see the syllabus on your screen. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the contact information. This semester, contact's going to be a little different than other semesters. You'll see my name, my email, and a couple of different phone numbers. Email is going to be the easiest, most efficient way to quickly exchange communication this semester. I typically check my email obsessively throughout the day. If it is something quick, expect to get a reply back within a couple of hours. The only days where that might be delayed will be Tuesday and Thursday mornings when I'm in longer lecture sessions. If it's something that requires a little bit more of a detailed response, allow just a little bit longer, but you should always get an email reply the same day that you send it. If for some reason you don't, send another email because it may have gotten lost in another thread somehow. If it is urgent that you get hold of me, and when I say urgent, something that requires an immediate communication. An example of that would be if you were taking one of your online exams this semester, and as soon as you begin it, your computer crashes and you get kicked out of the exam. That would be an instance where I would like to hear from you as soon as possible so we can rectify the situation. Don't use my office phone number that's listed there. I want to have it listed anyway, just in case you guys need it for the future. But for this semester, use the cell number that's provided on the screen here now. Text or call. If I can't answer it, I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I won't be in my office very much this semester. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2. I'll be spending some time in there in case you're on campus. Feel free to drop by. No appointment needed. However, if you do want to speak with me, we can always set up something virtual, and we can pick a time and date that works best for both of us. I'll be handling any virtual meetings through Blackboard Collaborate. You'll see where that's located on Blackboard once we do our tour. As we scroll down, we will see other contact information. We have our course leader, Becky McCain, and her office and phone number, as well as our area coordinators for Bio 137, Dr. Hopper and Dr. Snyder, as well as our divisional assistant dean, Dr. Zeps. If it's critical that you reach either one of them, that's how you go about doing it. However, if we have an issue where you're trying to solve a problem in our class, reach out to me first. That's going to make it a lot more efficient. You'll see some basic BCTC virtual links on the screen here now. We are going to be using Blackboard a lot. It's going to be the platform that we'll be conducting our class from. All of your class notes will be posted on there. All of the recorded class lectures will be posted on there. Any announcements will go through Blackboard. Anything that we have to do class related will go through Blackboard some way, shape, or form. However, we do have some other college campus-wide policies, and you will see links in the syllabus to those, like the Student Services Handbook, and as well as our academic policies and resources, and to the disabilities support services. If you have an approved disability, such as needing extra time for exams, so on, please reach out to them. I cannot provide unique accommodations to students unless you go through their department. So anything that you would need that would fall under their heading, reach out to them, get registered with the support services office. They will reach out to me and explain that there's going to be exemptions, and we will tackle it one step at a time with whatever needs to be done. We don't need to read through all of the syllabus. I can leave it here for you guys to read through. It is posted on Blackboard. We have general course competencies that are going to be consistent with any of the Bio 137 classes, regardless who's teaching it, as well as general education competencies that we're expecting to meet. Again, this is true for any Bio 137 class. As far as class materials go, we are going to be very technology dependent this semester. So you are going to be required to have access to reliable internet, a reliable computer with internet that has adequate speed to watch videos and take lecture exams and quizzes. You'll also need to have access to a webcam. Our exams are going to be virtually proctored, meaning you'll have to give permission through the Blackboard application to temporarily use your webcam, and the webcam acts as a scanning device. It scans the room for basically unnecessary movement. If the camera detects that your head is turning away from your screen multiple times, they view things like that as a red flag, and I will get a notification. And upon that notification will be included a video that I can see of you taking your exam. And if it looks like you're referring to other resources, if there are other people in the room, other voices with pertinent information, then that's going to be considered a violation of our academic integrity policy. More on the academic integrity policy in a bit. Our required textbook is Saladin's Anatomy and Physiology 9th edition through the McGraw-Hill Education Publishers. Included with this course was a fee upon registration that gave you a heavily discounted access to the electronic version of the textbook. On Blackboard, again, well, I'll say this a number of times, I'm sure, when we do our Blackboard course, I will show you where the link to the textbook happens to be. If you have any complications navigating it, reach out, let me know. Our McGraw-Hill rep is fantastic. I'm sure she will help you sort out any problems that we wind up having. If you would like a physical copy, it is optional, but it is available at the BCTC bookstore. But keep in mind, you've already paid for a virtual copy. And that's going to be included in the course fee on the screen here now at the top. I would recommend that you get a large binder, actually 2 large binders. Once we look at our lecture format, you're going to want to have the notes printed off, or if you're handy with tablets and whatnot, have the notes brought up on a tablet while you're watching the lecture. I've recorded the lectures in very much of a classroom format. It's me standing in front of a room with a screen with a PowerPoint on it, and occasionally I will turn and draw on the whiteboard. And as you can imagine, if you were in class, there are going to be times when you can't see exactly what's written on the PowerPoint. So there you want to refer to the notes. The notes are going to be copies of the PowerPoints, basically. Get yourself a binder for lecture with all of your notes in there, and get yourself a binder for lab. You're going to want to keep all of your lab materials very organized. Everybody should be looking for communication from their particular lab instructor, but generally speaking, you will have a lab, then the following week you will have a quiz. That's going to be the general pattern, I believe, that we're going to be following. I don't teach any of the Bio 137 labs this semester. So if you see an email from someone that's not me, make sure it's your lab instructor. because we should be the only two people where you're getting regular correspondence through this particular semester. And I believe there may be 5 different lab instructors in this Blackboard shell, potentially posting announcements and sending emails. Watch for your particular lab instructor. I'll be hosting 2 sessions a week for Q&A. I recognize that a recorded lecture is not the same as sitting in the room. It's nice to be able to ask questions and get communication back in real time. So once you watch the lectures, if you have any questions, please feel free to attend these question and answer sessions. For Bio 137, I'll be doing these on Tuesdays from 2 to 3 and Thursdays from 10 to 11. Those will be handled through Blackboard Collaborate. On the left-hand side of Blackboard, you'll see a tab that says Virtual Office. You log into there, and you'll see a recurring meeting. You can enter those meetings 15 minutes before the meeting starts, and we can exchange real-time communication virtually. Attendance is a very bit of an abstract concept compared to what we were used to when we would meet face-to-face. Attendance is going to include logging into Blackboard. I get a notification when you log into Blackboard. It saves everything as a log. You are expected to log into Blackboard at a minimum of 2 per week. Any week where you don't log in twice is going to be considered an absence, and you can accrue up to 4 absences. After that, it's an automatic failure for the class. With regard to logging in and staying in contact, I encourage you to check Blackboard announcements and your email at least daily. There are going to be times when our schedule may change, something may pop up that you are going to need to be aware of. And the sooner you're aware of it, the easier it's going to be on you. So please at least check email and announcements on a daily basis so we can change on the fly if needed as smooth as possible. We will be making announcements for anything that's being assigned and due on Blackboard, especially if things change. And as you're well aware, what we experienced last spring was everything went from live format to a virtual format in a matter of a week. With most of our labs being in person, we want to make sure we're staying in contact with any instructors that you have so we can stay up to date with any changes that need to be made. We will post, or I will post, an assignment on Monday that's due by the 17th. This is simply a no-show assignment. This would have been an assignment that if we were meeting in person, you would have never been aware was even happening. I would take attendance on the first day of classes, and if you weren't there, you would get dropped from the class. Because we don't meet face-to-face and attendance can't be monitored like that this time, we need to do it in a way where you simply have to acknowledge that you are in fact attending the class. This is done for registration purposes and financial aid purposes. For anybody who's registered but never show, it's much more easily sorted out as far as financial aid goes. This assignment won't be worth any points. It will just be an acknowledgement that you are going to attend the class moving forward. It'll be a brief question acknowledging that you reviewed the syllabus and your intentions are to stick with the class and follow it through. Check yes, hit submit. You won't get any points for it, so when it shows up on gradebook as a 0, don't panic. A 0 means you accomplished it. Our academic integrity policy is something that we take extremely seriously. And we saw quite an influx of events last semester when things went virtually. We are expecting any work that you turn in to be your own work. That sounds a little silly to even say that out loud, but it is true. If you are logging in during an exam and our proctoring software detects a red flag, and upon investigation, that red flag leads me to conclude that you were referencing your notes, a textbook, if there was somebody else in the room, then you will get a 0 for that body of work at a minimum. Last semester, we had several instances where students were taking their quizzes together. They were being very quiet about it, but it was still detected. And in this case, by the time it was detected, they had done several quizzes. And we could see that 5 quizzes in a row. We could see the log in and log out times for the students in the Blackboard. We could see the answers that they did that were exact, right down to the correct, the exact same incorrect answers, and the exact same scores. In cases where the academic integrity policy deems necessary, if there is a violation of that policy that is extreme, then it will be an automatic failure for the class and a notice sent to the college administrations. I mentioned earlier about the importance of email, checking it often, using it as our primary means of communication. If you are sending me an email, please, in the subject line, include the course that you're taking. This is not the only class I teach, not the only course I teach. And if I just get an email with no subject that says, hey, when's our next exam, I have no idea what class you're referring to. And because we're doing everything virtual right now, I can't even put a face with a name to know who exactly you are. So make it more efficient so we're not exchanging 3 or 4 emails to answer a simple question. Just let me know what course you're referring to, and we'll handle any questions as quickly as we can. All of our recorded lectures are included as links to YouTube. And the main reason I do that is that YouTube has a built-in closed captioning service. It may not be great, but it certainly is better than any other service that we have through Blackboard. And it also saves space in our Blackboard shell. You see some additional policies. Please feel free to navigate your way down through them. If you have any questions, let me know. Some general expectations. Keep in mind that as the semester goes on, I have expectations of you, and I'm well aware that you have expectations of me. Virtual learning is certainly not ideal, but we do intend to make the most of it to not only make it accessible for you, but also make sure that the quality is up to standard. If there are any concerns, I would appreciate it if you let me know. Graded components. We will have exams and we will have quizzes as part of our lecture component. All of our, or not quizzes, assignments, sorry, is a better way to phrase it. All of our assignments will be made through Blackboard, through the McGraw-Hill Connect website. There is a link on Blackboard, a tab that says lecture assignments. That's where you want to go. Same with exams. And it will take you through the McGraw-Hill tool and Blackboard to accomplish it. The exams will be a one-time shot. They'll be available for a couple of days, then they will be gone. The assignments, however, worth 20 points each, you can take as often as you wish. They'll be made available each Monday, and they'll be due the following Sunday. The assignments aren't meant so much to test your knowledge as much as they are to familiarize you with the material. What I encourage people to do is take the assignment first as if you were taking it as a standalone quiz. If you feel like you're familiar with a lot of that material, that's a great sign. If you feel like you just took it and you have no idea what you just took, even though you read through the text and you read through the notes and watched the lectures, that's when you need to go back through the material a little bit closer. But feel free to take them. Blackboard will always count the highest grade you achieve. So if you take it and get a full 20 out of 20, and then you take it again for practice and only get an 18, it will still count your 20. There are going to be extra assignments. I think here it says 12. I think I may have even scheduled 13 assignments. Only 10 will be counted. Anything in excess of that, we will drop your lowest grades. There won't be any grade dropping for the exams. That only applies to the assignments. A new program that's getting rolled out this semester is Spotlight Instruction. And I plead with you to have some patience with this program early on. It's a brand new program that's just getting rolled out. And as we speak, the bugs are still getting worked out. Hopefully, not only does it go smoothly, but hopefully it leads to a much better retention for the class. 137 is a rather difficult class. There's a lot of technical information, and you get an abundance of it. Spotlight Instruction is meant to take the topics that we feel students struggle with the most. Sometimes it'll be organizational, especially with online learning. Organization is an Achilles heel of many students. But sometimes it's a lecture material topic. These topics are going to be scheduled throughout the week. I don't teach any of these particular Spotlight sessions, so it'll be nice for you guys to get a different viewpoint on some of these topics and not just mine. Hopefully, if I explain something and you don't quite understand it, hopefully someone else explains it in a different way that will make you grasp the material just a little bit better. I really don't care who gets it across to you, as long as us as a team are able to get you the knowledge you need. Several times throughout the week, these won't be recorded sessions, and you have to attend a certain number of them. Grades of an A or a B on an exam will get you exempt from having to attend quite as many. So please be on the lookout for the Spotlight instructions schedule we posted. They do begin this week, and you are free to check those out. Exams will all be multiple choice, true, false type questions, all performed online and proctored through our Blackboard software. All exams will include material that comes from the lectures and the pertinent textbook sections. Towards the end of the syllabus, you will see that each week it'll be laid out what we're going to be doing. Lecture topics and textbook sections. Just because we didn't talk about it in a lecture does not mean you're not responsible for it. Midterm grades will be posted. There's a due date, and of course that's not printed here right now, but it'll be announced as they're being made available. Use these midterm grades as a guide. Please be aware of how you're doing throughout the semester. 60% and below is considered a failing grade. And I see a lot of students who think that they can still pull it out in spite of having lost a lot of points throughout the semester. So please stay in touch throughout the semester. It's frustrating from my standpoint to get an email from a student that I haven't heard from all semester with 3 weeks left in the class, wondering what they need to do to pass. If you get a less than desirable grade on your first exam, that's when we need to fix the problem. We do have one final exam worth 200 points. That exam is going to be cumulative. Our other 4 exams will only cover material since the last exam. So we'll compartmentalize the material for our 4 lecture exams. The final exam, however, will include all material covered this semester. Lecture is going to count for 75% of your final grade, with the other 25% coming from lab. In spite of that imbalance, you still need to pass lecture and lab in order to pass the class. You can't float your grade by doing very well on one half. So even if you get an A in lecture, if you fail lab, you will still fail the course, and vice versa. There will be no opportunities to turn in late work. Assignments are going to be made available for an entire week. Once the deadline passes, we are not able to reopen those assignments. If you have trouble during an assignment, please let me know as soon as possible. Very often, these assignments are going to be due on Sunday, which means the IT department is going to be closed. So I encourage you to begin these assignments much earlier in the week. Remember, you can take them as many times as you wish. If it's simply your computer crash and you need the assignment reopened, I can do that. However, if you're having software issues on your computer that's beyond my ability to correct and we need IT to step in, they won't be able to get to you over the weekend. If you know that you were going to have an excused absence pop up in the semester, let me know in advance. It's a lot easier to roll with the punches when I know you're going to miss something in advance rather than after the fact. Remember, some of these due dates that we have set, once they pass, that we can't reopen it. If we know in advance, we can extend it looking ahead, but we can't reopen it once it closes. Listed on the screen right now would be the list of acceptable excuses to miss material. If we do have an excused absence, it has to be documented, and you have to notify me within 24 hours. Failure to notify me that you missed something within 24 hours will negate your ability to make up the exam. Here are some important dates. Our withdrawal policy. You can withdraw for any reason up to and including March 8th. You have until April 5th to withdraw with my permission. Now, I've never denied a student from being able to drop. There's any number of reasons why you may need to drop after the March 8th deadline. However, once we pass April 5th, you're past the point of no return now. There will not be any drops offered after the April 5th date. Here we have some other links that you might want to check out. You have free tutoring available through the Thinking Storm application. I will post a link to it on Blackboard. I don't believe it's there yet, but I'll post a link to it. And depending on which section you're in, you may already be assigned a student tutor. We have embedded tutors in 137 as often as we're able to, and they're assigned to very specific sections of the class. Likewise, I will set up a link on Blackboard letting you know who your tutor may be. So if you have questions, reach out. These are generally students who have taken the class recently, have done very well. So it's a nice perspective. They can maybe help you out with some things from the student's perspective, things that help them grasp the material. Here is our tentative schedule. And I say tentative because this does have the ability to change as we move through it. You'll notice down the left-hand column is the weeks. So week 1 is our upcoming week starting on the 11th through the 17th. Your assignments through Connect will be due at the end of that particular content week. The week of the 11th through the 17th, we're doing our syllabus review that you're watching now, and we'll do intro to the body. Once we look at Blackboard and see how it's laid out, you will see that the weekly content is divided up just like we see on the left-hand column of our schedule. Under each week, you will have 2 folders, one with the notes, the printed versions of the PowerPoints, and the other with the recorded lectures. Here is the textbook material that is expected to be reviewed along with the lectures. And the Post-it Connect assignments will come from a combination of the lectures and the textbook readings. Down the right-hand side is the topic du jour, so to speak, for our spotlight sessions. Any spotlight session topic will run for a 2-week period. So for the next 2 weeks, the spotlight sessions will include informing you guys about how to navigate Blackboard efficiently, where to find the most pertinent information with regard to your syllabus, and what you're going to need to know for Connect assignments. Now, most of this topic I'm handling here with this lecture now. But remember, you still have to attend a certain number of these as the semester goes on. So early on, it's very much organizational, institutional type topics. But as we go on, we certainly get into topics that students tend to have more trouble with, 2 weeks at a time. And the last page is, I guess, an informal checklist. 10 assignments. Again, I think I have some others to throw in there into the mix as we go. These will be the 10 basic assignments with 20 points apiece to give us our assignment points for your final grade. The due date for each of these assignments and the textbook material that they're meant to cover. And you can use this page to kind of check off the ones that you have completed. So it'll keep you from losing track of them. So you have to complete 10. I do have plans to throw a couple additional ones into the mix, at which case, at the end of the semester, I'll go back and drop the lowest graded assignments that exceed any 10 of them. So now let's go and look at Blackboard real quick and orient ourselves to it. I'm going to attempt to share my screen here. Hopefully you guys can see this. If not, please someone send me an email and say, hey, when you switch to look at Blackboard, I couldn't see it. I'll do something else. But if you look down the left-hand tab, left-hand side of Blackboard, this is where we're going to be focusing right now, so you know where everything is. The first one I want to draw your attention to is the announcements page. You should see announcements pop up for any pertinent class information. Any changes, anything that's been added, anything that's been dropped, an exam that's been made available. you will get an announcement. You will not see announcements for regular weekly Connect assignments. Those are going to happen regularly and often enough that you shouldn't need an announcement to remind you of it. Again, if you see an announcement from a lab instructor that's not yours, please disregard it. It's going to get real confusing if you're taking instruction from 5 different lab instructors. It's my understanding that most lab instructors are going to be using direct email to communicate with you in your lab section rather than the announcements. But I've asked that if they do make an announcement, they include their name and the lab section in the announcement so you guys can differentiate if it's meant for you or not. If you're confused, reach out to your lab instructor. The next tab is where you find the syllabus. Copy of the syllabus that we just went through is posted to Blackboard for your reference. For our no-show assignment, make sure you've gone through that syllabus thoroughly. Make sure you familiarize yourself with Blackboard. Then take the no-show assignment, testifying that you did such. Next tab is our ebook. And if you notice, I just clicked it and it took us to the McGraw-Hill Connect website. Remember, upon registration, a course fee associated got you access to a digital copy of the book. That's your link to access it. If you have difficulty, let me know, and we'll reach out to our rep and try and get that taken care of as soon as possible. So those first couple of tabs, the syllabus and the ebook, once we get into our class a couple of weeks, you're going to notice those tabs are going to be moved down the order because they're not going to be important. And once you access the ebook, you know how to access the ebook. What'll move to the top of the list here after a week or so will be weekly content. This is where you're going to be spending a lot of your time. Right now, you see I have the first 2 weeks worth of material posted. Here's week 1. That's what you're going to be responsible for from the 11th through the 17th. Here's your class notes. And here are links to the lectures associated. For syllabus review, obviously you see there's no link right now. I'll be posting this video into that spot once we get done here with it right now. And with that, you will get a folder for each week throughout the semester. Virtual office. This is where we will meet if you want to speak with me as if it was an office meeting. Our Q&A sessions will be handled through the virtual office. Once you log in, you will see sessions scheduled. For our Q&A sessions, they'll be recurrent. Every Tuesday, every Thursday. Log in there 15 minutes before, join the group, and however many people we have, we'll entertain questions for as long as you have them. The next tab is our lecture assignments and exams. That's where you're going to find links to your Connect assignments that occur weekly, as well as your lecture exams, the 4 of them and the final. Here's where I'm going to include a schedule for our spotlight sessions. Again, I'm still gathering information pertaining to those. I don't teach any of the 137 spotlights, but once I get a concise schedule right across the board, I will be including that information here. After that, you will see a list of tabs that won't apply to all of you. We see lab materials for Nathan Morelli, lab materials for Margarita, lab materials for Kevin Otis, Selvi. We have 5 different lab instructors handling labs for this particular 137 class. You are going to want to look in those tabs for relevant information posted by your lab instructor. Any of your lab quizzes and exams, however, will be posted in the tab marked Lab Quizzes and Exams. Try to make it as clear as absolutely possible. You will have a weekly quiz, and you will have 3 lab exams as the semester goes on. But your lab instructor will inform you as to more of those. So that pretty much tackles your Blackboard tour. Our semester starts on Monday the 11th. I'll be sending out an email reminding everybody of that so you can get a nice jump on it. I encourage you not to fall behind in this class. There isn't enough time to catch up and understand. Early on in the semester, we're going to be handling introductory topics, and it's going to appear like we're jumping from topic to topic. Unrelated topics. But that's your foundation. When we get to the subsequent material, we're expecting you to know the introductory stuff. If you don't, now you're 2 sections behind. So please stay up on top of it, and if you have any questions, the sooner you get them addressed, the more able you'll be to stay on top of the semester. So I look forward to working with everybody. If you have any questions, let me know. And hopefully things go as smoothly as absolutely possible. Again, virtual is not ideal, but if we stay organized and we stay on top of it, we shouldn't really miss a beat. So take care, good luck this semester, and we'll stay in regular communication. Enjoy what's left of your break.